The most popular platform in the world for making a website is WordPress, site or blog. And the most used plugin for SEO purposes is SEO by Yoast, WordPress SEO by Yoast. And it's actually one of the most used plugins overall. So more than 1 million is installed. And to me, this is a bit strange. So I will try to demonstrate in this blog post that you have alternative to using the plugin, and in my opinion, they can be somewhat better. So it's quite a long post for a long demonstration, and I made it a video so that you will understand my reasoning better. But just remember that I'm trying to demonstrate that you can have better ways than using WordPress SEO by Yoast. You can have better ways of doing SEO for your blog/website. Okay, so this is the plugin. It's very well documented. It has a video. I will link to it in the description. And I really like the way it was organized and made. So very nice. I almost have no objections at all. So most of the reviews are positive. It's a good plugin. It has support and it's very popular. Okay, so what does the plugin? If you write a blog post, you put an article, you create a title, a slug, a URL for the article, a small text, a category, and so on. And the plugin adds you a special box, which is supposed to help you in making in having a better optimized website. I will discuss it a bit later, but so this is one of the most used boxes. It lets you edit the title, so if you don't like what it's in here, you can make it a bit different. So you can make it like this, and now it's smaller. And if you want to use the keyword, you can just copy paste it. And I will just cut this, and still too long, still too long. Okay, so now it's good. And it helps. Look, you just copy paste this, and now it's good. And if you want to add for publishing, it makes no sense what I've written, but just for the purpose of showing an example. So now I have more than one yes, and so on. I should use it in other places, and it's quite good. I've seen people doing it a bit wrong. So if you, I will mention it a bit later. Focus keyword. This thing is for internal use, so it's meant for you. If you have a website, I will link to it. Let me just. Okay. So I made you. You should have a look at this article which I made, and okay. Okay. So in this article, I talk about. I give you I give you an example on how to make the keyword list for a website. And if you establish that publishing is a relevant keyword for you, then yes, it's good to have to write it in here. Write that keyword, and the plugin will help you by telling you how to use that keyword. But it's for internal purpose only, and I've seen people writing it just to get this to yes, to have all of them to yes, writing it poorly. So they don't know, some people, that it's just for their use, and they don't understand very well how to use this thing. Okay, another thing, for is supposed to be a stop word. So most search engines are fine if you don't include for in it. So in Romania we have de, which is a preposition, but in English it's for. And even if the URL doesn't, the slug, the link of the article doesn't contain 4, uh, in my opinion, this is a very well made. So if I want to optimize for publishing, it doesn't have to contain the word for, but the plugin tells me I'm doing something wrong. And perhaps a percentage would have been much better. So let's say I like in this example, I am 80% okay. Yes, perhaps I could add 4, but it's still fine. And now it tells me with red, no, you haven't done things correctly. But in my opinion, this URL is quite well optimized for this keyword, so it's not a big problem. But the plugin forces me to add 4, which is a bit strange and wrong. Okay. These are a bit advanced. Most people don't need them. So if you write a blog post, generally don't want it either no follow or not indexed. The canonical URL is the plugin sets it automatically very well, so you don't need to change it. It's very atypical if you need to have something like this. And most of the times, yes, it's good to edit Facebook title, description, and image, but it can get it from the meta description in here. So it generally don't need to edit them. This is quite interesting, and I like it a lot, because if I write a blog post and I add an image, sometimes the image is vertical and I don't want to change it, and I want a solution to just edit it for Facebook. And this is quite nice. So I can make a photo just for Facebook and just upload it here, and it will just show in Facebook. I like this a lot. Okay. Other things the plugin does. So it allows you to edit the titles. To me, this option quite all the times since I've used it, when I used it, it never worked. This is quite nice, and it looks okay, but it's a bit too fancy. I don't know. So it's easy and nice, but it's a bit too much, and I will come back to this, because it I don't know, it might ask for some resources, but it's easy, and so it's a nice thing to have, but I would prefer it would not ask for resources for the blog. These are quite well made, so even the standards one are quite well made. And while I don't use this no index and follow ever, I will talk about this. Some people agree with no index and follow, so it's your choice. Meta keywords, it's good. So there was a time when meta keywords was widespread, and it's very hard to impose people not to use it. The default is okay, don't use it, but if you still want to use it, it's okay. And they tell you have no reason for using it, they do it okay. This is good. So if you I will give you some alternatives to this, but if you just want something quick and easy, this is a very good solution. Okay. So I told you about the focus keyword. It's just it's just for internal use. I wanted to make it very clear. Another function, I don't know, the link was a bit strange. So if you want to have XML, you can have sitemap XML for Google, and breadcrumbs, and I think they are quite well optimized even for Google. So they use schema.org, and they're quite well made. A thing which I generally change, so at RSS, right now the plugin is deactivated, so it can't work. But at RSS, it adds a code. So the first thing I do when I activate the plugin is the following. Go to RSS and remove that code. I will just show you. Okay, so I activated the plugin, and in here it has some post. When I first install it, it's got something like this, author link and blah blah and something like this. So I would suggest not to use it, but it depends. So on most websites I don't need that because it makes my visitors a bit angry, in my opinion. But some people might want to include it. But I generally don't use it, and I don't like that it's by default do this option. And the other thing which I change, I go to titles and metas, and at archives this is checked, and I don't like it, and I always change it. I always remove this. Okay, this is quite nice because it allows me to mass edit the titles and descriptions for lots of things. And this is quite well because it allows me to get settings from other plugins. I like this a lot. This is very well. So if I well made. So if I go to options and check this option, I don't want a search engine to index my website. Immediately the plugin tells me, and until I click this button, it will tell me constantly. So it's a very good option. So as long as the option is checked, the plugin will tell me. So I will do a live demo. Now even if I go to writing, it's still telling me, and I have to click it to make it disappear or uncheck it. If I put another plugin at the same time called Google XML's plugin, I will recommend this plugin, or perhaps other plugins. I'm not sure. I haven't tested them all. But even if I put a plugin which WordPress SEO knows might interfere with the functionality of this plugin, it will tell me. Perhaps it's not very nice of them because the first option is okay, deactivate the other plugin, leave ours alone, and it also gives you the options, okay, I will disable this function, but okay, the warning itself is a good idea because it's a good to know that you're part of an ecosystem. So I like this implementation. The problem is that it tends to happen the following thing. So usually it happens with Nero, okay, with the CD burning. You want something to write a CD, and it's a simple software, and you can't have too many options writing a CD. So speed and there are some settings, but not too many. And after a while, you as a CD uh, as a producer of software for burning CDs, you want to make things better. You want to give some extra functionality. How do you do that? Generally, you do this by adding some other functions. And currently, Nero has become very big. It's a huge software. It partially happened with Office software. So Word is fine, PowerPoint, Excel, but at some point there are so many things doing, and if you just want Office with a simple thing, you generally don't understand even what you get. And I think there is a bit of a problem of having a software which does too many things because it requires some resources. And to test my theory, I have used this plugin. It's linked in the description of the video and in the description of the article. It's made by GoDaddy. It's not as popular as the plugin made by Yoast, but I think it's a good plugin and you should try it if you haven't used it so far. And so when I used it the first time, I had much more plugins. So I had more plugins active, and some of them I didn't need so much. So Yahoo Messenger, where is it? So each time a visitor entered the website, it will be like almost a very small time would be dedicated just to show some emoticons. So I disabled it, and the contact form was only used on the contact page, and I just replaced it with an email and made that email an image, so it's the same functionality from my part, and just make things more simple, and so some other plugins which I didn't need. So after I did this, I disabled some of the security plugins. Okay, the most resource hungry plugin was WordPress SEO by far. Another website. This is another website which I manage, and in here again WordPress SEO. There are other web plugins which I can't disable, but WordPress SEO I can. So Jetpack also requires lots of resources, and redirection by there is a plugin called redirection. It's a great plugin. I loved it when I saw it. Oh my god! So when you edit an article, you just you can forget about having bad links or not working. While the plugin is active, even if you change the URL of the post for 10 times, the visitors can still get to your page, I think. I generally try 1 or 2, but I think it might work even on 10. I'm not so sure, but I think it should work. And I like that plugin a lot, but it requires an enormous amount of resources, so I just disable. Okay, I will lose some visitors, but the ones which I will gain will be happy. So I prefer some happy, less users, rather than more users but unhappy. So I disabled some other plugins and done some tests, still the same problem. So I thought about it, how should I replace the plugin? So I've done this for a few websites of mine. So I've been doing this, okay, we don't want the plugin, for about half a year, almost a year. And while I miss the great functionality of the plugin, because it just activated and tells you, look, you have robots.txt something. It's got some good things. But other than that, I found some replacements for most of the functions which the plugin has, and to me they're okay. So I will just first I will mention them all, and then I will show you what were the results for Lumea SEO PPC website which I manage. Okay, so this is an article which tells you how to add the open graph, like open graph description, open graph title, open graph image. Okay. I don't know what happened. Where are we? So here. So this is a plugin which also has a problem. So it's the same problem with the redirection. Okay. If you use the solution which I provide in this article, you should test it with this URL. So you just take this link and go to this address. You need to be logged into Facebook, and if you click fetch new scrape information, it will get the current information. Also, if you post something on Facebook and it doesn't show right and you correct it on your website, use this tool to get the latest information, because otherwise you just need to wait for a while. Look, for 29 minutes it hasn't scraped. So if I get it now, it's current. Okay, this is for Twitter, the same thing as above. There are for other social networks. To me, they're not so relevant, but you can surely find for other social networks. If you just want to edit the meta description and meta title of the articles, categories, homepage, and other pages, you should have a look at these articles. So this is for title, and this is for title, which also adds the description, and this is for description. This is a plugin which does something which I can't replace in WordPress SEO. It's called the XML sitemaps. It's very useful, but despite this, it doesn't require very many resources. It's a small plugin, so I don't bother replacing WordPress SEO, which to me is a big plugin, with XML sitemaps, which to me is a small plugin. Okay, Uh, so all of these are functionalities of WordPress SEO. Another one is authentication with Google Webmaster Tools, which you can do manual. There are solutions to manually authenticate a website other than using WordPress SEO, which is good. So WordPress SEO does a good thing, but it forces you, once you use it a lot, it will be very hard to give up him, because you will have to do this all of these things and just check it. So it will be hard. But if you use it right from the beginning, use these solutions, it will be simpler to give up. Okay. For canonical URL, you need just this code. If you add this code, you will have a canonical URL. And it works. I have this solution on my blogs. Okay. This is for no indexing. A website has more pages, and if it's a WordPress blog, it generally has two types of articles. One are blog posts, and another one is pages. So you can have an article like a blog post, and you can have an article like a static page, home, about, contact us. Okay, so the blog posts can have categories and tags. If the same blog post appears as a single entity, then appears in categories, then appears in tags, shouldn't this be considered duplicate content? And the answer varies, because some people say yes, it might be considered, but still you should allow Google to index it because it knows how to handle it better than you. And other people say no, you shouldn't allow Google to think for himself. You should tell him, look, I want this indexed and I don't want the other thing indexed. And it's a conflict, so it's not well settled. So some people say in one thing, some people say in another way. I personally prefer to let it index it and just let Google handle this, but other people advise of not indexing this category. So it's not a clear thing. Okay, for schema.org. So you have to decide, because these people tell you, okay, you should not index them, and these people say, okay, yes, you should, and this is the conclusion. Okay. If you want to implement it, this is the code you need to insert. Okay, so I told you about all these things. So I have had the look on Lumea SEO PPC website and decided what should I keep and what should I disregard regarding WordPress SEO plugin. So what do I need? For this, there is a code. It's very useful, this code. I used it. Okay, so I need this. I don't especially need this. Even with the plugin, it wasn't set up. This I need. I don't manually set the meta description, but I need the code for meta title, and I need the meta description to be taken automatically from the first words. Okay. I need the plugin, so I installed it. I manually added the website to Google and Master Tools and Bing. I need this code. It's just a line, so very simple. I don't use this. I don't use this. To me, the option of ignoring it is better, because it's just a blog. It's not something. So generally, it doesn't show anything at all. So it's just wasted effort. Okay. So I took. This is the website. Oh, this is for schema.org, and you have a plugin for schema.org. Okay, so I took the website, and this is the. I ran some tests. So these are the tests with the WordPress SEO plugin installed, and XML sitemap deactivated, and the other settings are pretty much the same, because even if I had some tags, it wouldn't bother me if I set the exact same permalink as WordPress SEO, so I just ignored it. Even if there are two canonical links, Google will know how to handle it, because they both point to the same thing. And OJ description, OJ image. Again, even if WordPress SEO was setting something, it was setting the same thing which I would do with this thing. So I didn't change the code. So the only difference between the tests is the following. In the first set of tests, while Google XML sitemap is deactivated, and in the second test, Google XML sitemap is activated, and then I completely deleted WordPress SEO. So this time with WordPress SEO active, and the next time with Google XML sitemap plugin active. Okay. So this is the test. Most relevant are the overall grades and the speed. So this is for homepage, and let's have a look. This is for homepage. So pretty much the same result. Okay. A minor decrease in speed, but it's very small, and perhaps because we entered the same web page, perhaps it loaded fast. I'm not so sure, but there were only 3 milliseconds, so it's not too much of a difference for the homepage. Okay, this is for an article for 80 and 8066. It's very minor difference, perhaps an increase, but it's a minor difference. It's very small. And this is for so both of these tests had the cache activated. This is for homepage 422164. This is faster, this is slower. So okay, 4929 518. It's within the margin of error. It's not a very big difference. Okay. So this is the test with the plugin activate WordPress SEO, and this is the test with the XML sitemap. As you can see, the XML sitemap is not even in the top 10 plugins which required. So the load on the server decreased by a little, not too much, but a little. Like it still was. It's still a bit significant. So now I tested the new version. I tested the URL, and this is how it looks. It takes the image from the blog post, and most of the things are correct. What I would do better, so there is room for improvement. I would remove the special characters. So I write with the special characters in Romania, and this should be removed from meta description. I would force the plugin to cut it. So if the meta description is like this and it's more than 155, I will just cut it to the desired size. This would be better. If there are more than one image to a blog post, so this is a blog post, it has a video, a map, and 2 images. Look, perhaps this is better for Facebook. I would prefer the plugin to just analyze a bit and see if one of these images is better for Facebook, and just take the better one, because perhaps there is a vertical image, and those generally look very, very bad on Facebook if they're automatically posted. But an horizontal image generally looks much better. So I would prefer the plugin to have some knowledge on this. Right now I lost the option of editing the meta description. I could edit it in the excerpt, but right now I cannot do this. So I would love to have this, even if I need to code it a bit. If you still want to use the plugin, despite of what I said, what are my advice? What is my advice? You should first of all be informed. You should know. So there are quite a few settings which the plugin has, and you should know how to understand most of them. And you should verify the output. So just take the website and go to page source, right click and view page source, or Control U or Control F3, but generally right click view page source, or go to menu view page source. Generally you will find it somewhere in here. Look, right now I cannot because I'm already in page source, but generally this is the method. So find the menu, view, page source. and just look in there at the code. But you should have some knowledge, so for this you need to be informed on the options the plugin has. As a conclusion to everything I said in here, the plugin is quite well. So if you have a small website with less than 50 pages and with less than 50 visitors per day, I would very much consider keeping it and using it. Perhaps I would put a very good plugin for caching, and it would not matter as much what the plugin does, but it would still matter. So for a small website, I would consider using it, because all of these require quite some effort and some verifications and then some updates. It's too complicated. But if you have a website for which you care, which is important to you, which has a lot of visitors and lots of pages, which drives a lot of traffic to your website, I would consider having alternative solutions to making the website optimized. The plugin is not a bad option, but there are better alternatives, because what you need mostly is not internal SEO, like making the website better for Google, but you need mostly people to feel good and to like your website and to link to it. And if the website loads poorly and they don't like the website for this reason, and you've just lost a link and you have an unhappy customer, that's much more important than some, what I don't know, code which the plugin adds for Google. And there are alternatives which put some smaller load on the website. Okay, thank you very much.